Hey folks, see that boat back there? That's a new one. Well, it's a prototype. I don't think it's new till it's production, which we're good ways away from. But I've been testing this particular one. We put a scupper hole in the middle of it, basically a hole in the floor for water to drain out with a screen over the top of it. I actually went to local farm pond, my brother-in-law's farm pond, last couple days to test different foam plugs that we put up in there. Because if you just run it, with the motor, it'll stern squat and the water just gushes up through it. I want water to go down through it, not up through it. And put a closed cell foam block in there with some holes. And it seemed to help. Like I threw a 5-gallon bucket over it to see, hey, is this, a 5-gallon bucket full of water, and just look at it, see how it drains. But this is the the creek test today. So I'm gonna take it to creek up in PA, and I think I got a decent ledge drop in there somewhere that is gonna put water over the bow, and then I'll film and see if it sucks it out the way that I think it should. But yeah, this is prototype testing day on the creek, and I think I'll probably catch a few fish while I'm up here. Yeah. All right, I'm here. The concept behind this boat is a throw and go that has whitewater capability. So more rocker at the front, a more aggressive upturn that goes deeper into the boat, and rocker at the back for sure. And the side tubes are up a little bit more. Whatever. It's 12.5 foot long and really agile. But this is a perfect example. There's this creek here that there's this park where I'm gonna tell you, I gotta drag this thing over the grass and actually see a little. It's been raining. There's this watery little ravine that'll probably drag it down through that. That's perfect. But this is not a ramp place. This is not a. It can be a cart in place, but it's a lot to cart. I'm just gonna drag it because it's fairly lightweight, and I'm not gonna carry a lot of stuff. I might carry 2 rods, and I did this cool underseat tray. Go check that out on the Instagram account. It's I created it with Yak Attack parts and polyethylene sheeting, like a 1/4 inch at starboard. I'm really happy with that. But whatever, I'm going to take this out, drag it down there, and point the video camera at that hole in the back to kind of learn some things and run through some rapids. There's not big rapids, but there's one in particular that's a rare low head dam that drops not into, there's zero hydraulic. There is not a hydraulic there. It's just a very slow, gradual that should have enough of a wave train at the end, but it's shallow and gravelly at the base. So yeah, let's put on the rain gear and start dragging. All right, there's the boat. Say without anything on it. This is the full complement of stuff that I normally take. It's actually even a little bit less. I am going to take the motor because I have to do some assessment. But there's a screened scupper hole there with a foam block in. Yeah, I'm going to take that out. But basically the concept of, do I need to take all of this? No. But I did. Let's see. I got some snacks in there. Put those in there. So, food. And I don't need that. I think I do want these. I definitely want that. And I'll have some things tied on. I think I already got spinnerbait tied on, but Definitely want that. Possibly smaller spinnerbait. Want that? Yeah, take a crankbait. And I'll just grab some jigs and some jig heads out of there. I'll take a look at what all I got here in just a minute. And there's jigs. And center jerk shads. This whole thing does sort of weigh a lot. I think I got a few of these heads that weigh something for sure. I'll grab a brown for this jig. I'm sure some blacks. Yep, best jigs, and we'll be ready to go. There it is, all packed up. I don't have the motor on yet. I'm gonna leave that there for now. But let's look at what I didn't bring. Second battery, just won't need it. All the soft plastics, the dome. This is the big weight reduction thing. It is not bringing that, and I didn't really reduce my rod count. Rods don't weigh much, and I got all these Omega Pro and Omegas. I got 4 of them. Just move this basket up so we can really see how that thing's functioning. We'll see. This looks cluttered until I do this. Just slide that in. Oh, that's just catching on the motor. That does slide in pretty neat. Got my catch board there, got my tools, and got a boga grip there, and my net. 2 anchors. Yep. Good to go. All right. Let's drag down there. Before we start, it is important to find yourself there and just do a waypoint just so you can look back at it, because it may look different from the river or the creek. You want to be able to say, oh, there's my pin drop. So rocking an old school paddle, old favorite. Drop the motor down. See what this does. Yeah. Here in the middle. Look at how things are in the back. Huh. I need more motor lift line put in. I didn't give myself enough length there. You know, this is part of the whole first run. Figure stuff out. Also got a gold spinnerbait out. There's a creek mouth log jam. Current seam. There's a creek that comes into the creek. Oh goodness. Hit that one branch. The whole thing snarls. Darn it. Oh gosh. I hit right at the boat. Oh, he was fresh. Oh. First smallmouth out of this boat, and it's a dandy if I can land it. Yes! Ah. I'll say first smallmouth out of the boat, because I've caught a couple farm pond largemouth. But goodness gracious, that's a fortuitous start. Nice 17.5 incher in the creek. See ya. That was fun. Another big one right away. Wow. So 17.5 followed by, I don't know what this is. I'm gonna call him 18.25, but he's, yeah, he's over 18. Beautiful fish. At first, when I actually watched him come out and nip it, maybe it wasn't him, maybe it was a different fish altogether. I should probably go back there and try it again, because there could be multiples in the same spot, but and you'd think there'd be something on that wood right there. I can't tell you what specifically both of those fish were holding on, but they didn't hit at the back of the eddy. They hit out in current a little bit. So it's been raining, and one of the reasons I'm in a creek is that, oh, there's another one swatted at it. That was another good one. Is that the rivers are blown out, and you know, it's been 2.5 days since a pretty big rise. This creek was up, 3 feet higher than what it is right now, and it's just now coming back to that perfect color of, it's still it's on the edge of green and brown, which is perfect for the spinnerbait. I'm gonna tell you it's more green than brown, but if it was much cleaner, goodness gracious, it would be it wouldn't be spinnerbait water. You gotta have the right amount of stain for the spinnerbait to, I feel, really be optimal. Yes, you can get a spinnerbait to work in all sorts of water clarity, but I like it the most with some considerable stain. And speaking of considerable, this Rain Shadow Judge is doing a considerably good job keeping these fish buttoned. Another nice one. They keep coming. I don't think I have 24 casts, and I'm on to the third fish. Yeah, 17 incher. Cool. So the Judge blank, and this one's a bait caster, and I have, I think, 2 that are spinning rods. Has really just become my moving bait blank and rod, whether it's crankbait or topwater or spinnerbait or jackhammer. Pretty much anything I'm casting and retrieving, I want on this, because it does such a great job fighting the fish for you, and I will admit I'm not the best at gently playing a fish. I feel like sometimes I horse them. I don't with the finesse presentations as much. I let the drag engage, but man, if I'm throwing a moving bait, it's hard for me to just slow it down and play the fish well, and I don't. But the Judge, with its moderate action, this one's a medium heavy, the moderate action it makes it very forgiving to someone who has tendency to horse a fish, or even if you don't, it plays them very well for you. The other blank, which is the finesse jig, which I don't think I'm going to pick up today. I think I'm going to go all spinnerbait, maybe. We'll see. Is the Eternity RX10, which is the maximum sensitivity blank, and it's fast action. And because of that, it doesn't have that same parabolic bend and isn't as forgiving, so you have to play them better. And I really rely pretty heavily on a very smooth drag. Oh, there he is. I watched him come up. He kissed it twice. Yep. This is fun. Gosh, this is fun. Creek fishing in Pennsylvania in the springtime. Get in there. Sweet. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I brought very little tackle, and I think I'm probably gonna only actually use one lure the whole time I'm in today, and that's as long as I don't lose this gold spinnerbait. I think that's all I'm gonna use. 16 and a half. 16 and a half. You know, one more fish and for sure I'm into the mid 80s. So for sure, springtime fishing is amazing on a creek like this, but this, you know, right out of the gate shows what having a good throw and go rig, that it's not a totally mapped out easy access, no ramp, no, you know, you just, it was a park. I don't know if it had a ball field. It had some disc golf baskets. Yeah, I just put that in a tree. Whatever. Having a throw and go rig that is lightweight and you just bring a couple things, so powerful in what you can do. So we don't have whitewater here. I'm actually moving this finesse jig to the back because I don't think I'm using it. But I wanted to show you sort of the design or the function of the thigh straps. Look at my knees. The knees come over. You see how it tucks in? I can lean this way, and I'm not coming up out of the seat. Same thing on this way. I'm not going to lean real aggressively. I got to loosen that one a little bit. Even that up. So locked in. Grab the paddle and really dig and do whatever you're going to do with the paddle more aggressively, because let's face it, all these fishing kayaks, and this is no exception, have the higher seat, and what that does is it makes you a little bit top heavy, and in whitewater you want to be locked in. Thigh straps. I actually got I think I got this pair at the shop in California, Headwaters Adventure Company in Redding, California. So I've been throwing it all the way to the bank. There was an exception. And for the most part, they're not hitting it. He was out in current, but for the most part, they're waiting until they're out. Like they're biting it. Most of them have did it right next to the boat, which I'm out in current. So I think they're. I just wrapped the heck out of that. Wrapped the camera. That was brilliant. What I was saying, they're hitting out here, but I think they're chasing it from out there. And now, that's to clean up. Not used to a camera. Yeah. There, at least not the GoPro that sticks way up. Huh. Yep. Wrapped it good. It's a quick limit here. And I would be quickly running back to the truck to find another gold spinnerbait if I lost this one. So I'm going to retie. So something I've changed with my cast and retrieve baits like spinnerbait, jackhammer crankbait, is I've gone all fluoro. And I feel it saves me time because I don't have to worry about how long is my leader. I still have to do that with the finesse-y stuff and that, you know, finesse jig, scented jerk shad, that kind of stuff. But it's nice to just cut it off and know I don't have to. And you know, it's more bouncy, stretchy, which is, who was back there? I missed one there. Which doesn't, it actually, I don't want to say enhances, but it works with that whole moderate action deal. Like, they're pretty charged up when they hit a moving bait. Like, they're already moving at speed, and you add to that, you know, coming out in the current. It's just good to have that, you know, that forgiveness that I talked about. It's a heck of a day to be out here, guys. It's a big fish too. Oh boy. Alright, coming off the motor. Let them tiring out on that judge. You tired yet? You gonna come to the surface? No, you wanna go back to that bank where you ran out here and, oh man, it's just a thick. You're not the longest, but you're the heaviest. Okay. Wide fish. I should just leave this out. We just keep pulling it out. Yeah, he's 16, but he's probably heavier than that 18 I got. So let's go over some more of the rigging here. This is the catch crossbar. Super sturdy. It's got these metal risers. I forget what he calls them, but you know, it locked in right on the switch pad, and you know, locks in there. Got the lock and load base. Got two of those. I got the Boondocks rod stagers, and I got this little horizontal tie down. And this is double-sided Velcro here, so that if I wanted to, say, run a rapid and lash my net in a little bit better, I can do that. But the net gets this wide open, nothing to snag on surface. It just lives right there, and you know, that's cookies. So yeah, that's my console, and I like having the rod tips up and raised, rather than if this was all the way down. The baits tend to, you know, without this, dangle in the water and snag stuff. So love having that as a rod stager. So this is the part of the inaugural trip where I start recording. Here, these are the changes I need to make to this rig, the adjustments before I come back out. And one of them is that I need more length of motor lift cord. So motor lift cord. I rigged this with Trey the other day, and I put the seating position further back than what it is, and then I've moved it up and adjusted it. The way that this seat adjusts, the feet of it kind of kick out to the side, and it goes underneath the molly. I have this framed. You don't need this boat framed to use it. The seat goes, you know, like the little punch outs, little pipes on the end of the seat base, they tuck into that molly like that, and when you inflate it, you can't get that seat out. You can get it in when it's deflated. Once you inflate it, it's good to go. So neat little seat positioning adjustment deal that, we said, all right, we need to build a boat. Trey and I both agreed we need one that's also, not just a whitewater boat, but a price point boat that people can start with just getting the boat and then getting the frame later if they decide, all right, I need that increased riggability of track running all the way along the side. That was a hit. The track that we have on here is also a little more simpler, a little more lightweight. We'll see. We're still fleshing all that out. I will tell you, people will watch this and be like, cool, I want to order it right away. This is a huge tease. This entire video is a tease for something that might be unfulfilled for a while. This is prototype development, and this is what we did with the Osprey, and the Osprey is doing really well on sales, and it's a great platform. I think it is the most optimized platform for fishing the Susquehanna River. A big, wide, expansive, shallow, with some rapids. It's selling really well. It drains well because of the way that the drain channelizes it outward, and to the screens that has on the little side channels. Everything about the Osprey is firing on all cylinders, and it is a great product, and those are available. Developing a product and prototype development and testing, things and refining them. I will tell you that this is are we at the fifth? It's the fourth or fifth variation of this particular model, which we're going to call the Kestrel. And it's going to be a while. There's a couple reasons why it's going to be a while, because we got more work to do. That some of it comes out of my testing and looking at how this performs coming through, a wave train, which I think there should be one up here. The other part of it is unfortunately tariffs, and getting an Osprey may be in jeopardy too. These hulls are made in China. The track is not. So many of the other components that Trey has figured out, they're made here. The track is made pretty close to here. The other components, a lot of the stuff he builds himself in his shop, and then finds somebody local to do it in quantities. So it's like a lot of products, very blended in terms of some of it made outside the United States and some of it made here in the U.S. Unfortunately, there is no other option for drop stitch flooring. There are no machines that create the drop stitch flooring inflatable in the United States. I don't even know if there's one in North America. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so, though. I've looked for them in Mexico, and I haven't found them yet. In any case, what I'm telling you though is I'm letting you in early on what we're developing, and hopefully all of this survives the whole deal with the tariffs. Oh, that's a big one. Oh, that's the biggest one. Oh my gosh. I may change my camera angle. I should keep fighting this fish too. Or just let the judge do it for me. Jump into my net for me, please. Thank you. All right, another nice one. I will say this much about the Ospreys. I'm measuring this guy. Trey has a supply of them now. And we got one more shipment on the way, 16 3/4. Nice. Beyond that, we don't know. We don't know. So if you're thinking about an osprey, maybe think quick. You know, I know that scarcity is a selling tactic, right? Oh, get them before they run out. But this is more than just, you know, that play. It may be a period of time that we don't have drop stitch flooring inflatable products available because, you know, whatever they cost is gonna more than double. And I don't know. We're gonna have to figure that out. But he has some 12s left, and we have a batch that's been ordered that the tariffs will not hit. We've been assured that, but the next one beyond that, it's probably going to be tariff for a period of time. How long is that going to last? I don't know. Hopefully not forever. Oh, that was in a super tight spot. I cast over a branch too. That was pretty wild. Yep, that branch that you see, cast over. All right, so a lot of these fish are chasing it out and not hitting it until it's back at the boat. And that chasing behavior, one trick that you can do to make them commit, watch my hands, I will bring it in and I'll pause and then I'll restart. And that pulsing of the blades, and the bait actually dives for a second and then keeps going. I think they see that as an evasive maneuver. And they say, oh, now's my chance to, I don't know, it just makes them eat. It just helps. And you don't have to do it constant, but I think if they're chasing and not always committing to the eat, an occasional pause is a good thing. I apologize if any of the audio on this sucks. I'm just not pulling the big camera out. I'm also trying to give you better, just different camera angles. So I'm actually coming up on a dam that I thought was one. I got some good water between here and there to fish, but it's not going to be as long of a trip as I thought. So I'm happy with the boat overall, but that doesn't mean that, hey, let's take it to production. There's a lot more work to be done, and the biggest goal is to have scupper drainage that works when you need it to work. And with a rotomolded boat, you just make more of it. You make them bigger. Well, the problem here is that the bigger the hole you make, the more gushes up when you're under motor power, right? Happens with rotomolded boats too. And there are one-way scupper plugs, which my experience with them is it's been great concept, but like in practice, and they're actually working, they're horrible. I think we're onto something with what we're going to do with these. I'm not going to say what it is, but the concept is that, or the result is going to be, if it works, that when water floods in and you're under power, you're under motor power, it's going to suck it out of there. It's going to flush like a toilet, man. That's what we want. And I think there's a way to do it. That's some of what I'm wanting to test. I don't think I'm going to test it here because, like, my idea was to run what I saw as a whitewater. I knew that it was a low head dam. It is not the one I thought it was. There's one that's a low head dam that is very shallow and there's nothing to it. And it drops you into a gravel flat. I remembered this incorrectly. This is not the place I meant to come. So I'll probably have to come back out tomorrow and maybe get it out on the big river and watch it that way. This is stupid. I'm hand lining a fish through there. I threw the jig in there to mess with it, and like I got a wind knot on this All Might. The wind knot happened, and like I tried to pull it through, and it broke. So like it broke between here and here. So I'm just like hand reeling in this line, and this guy hits the jig. All right. Yeah, I know I wasn't gonna throw the jig, but I was like, yeah, foam eddy looks just too nice, but I got this spaghetti of broken line in my hand, and I just hand lined this guy. I was actually thinking like, hey, don't any of you guys hit this thing while it's coming back in, and you did not obey. Look at the goofy way to catch him. Hand lining with the finesse jig. Alright, so I'm gonna retie this, but I really do like the All Might, but it is not as strong as other braids, especially for the rating, you know. This is 22 and a half. Man, I could not pull on a wind knot the way that I did with this one, with other braids in it. The other braids wouldn't snap. This snapped. So it's great for feeling the bite and having that straight line from your rod tip to the bait. Fantastic for that. Its abrasion resistance, even on itself, is not good. I'm really happy with this console. It's great having all the tools here as opposed to on the track, which is underneath my thigh, sort of out of my line of sight. Much better here. I'm really happy with that project. I will tell you some of the needed assessment. I just retied that stupid thing and I'm snagged it already. Some of the needed assessment of this boat is paddling it, and I'm really waiting for the whitewater, the real whitewater, to do that. And I may not get to that today. We'll see. I paddled it on flat water on that farm pond, and it waddles. It kind of, I want to say it waddles. Waddle means like this, but it walks side to side, and you know, it does not track particularly well. But I don't think you get this boat saying, I want a boat that tracks well. So we talked about the strike trigger of the pause, the really brief pause. Another one is speed it up. Even let those blades come up and come up out of the water for just a little burst. That kind of frenetic like motion and just speeding up. It doesn't have to. I'm not talking about like burning it along the surface the whole time. I mean, just give it a little burst, which it's going to rise in the water column. It's going to be going along, and it'll like come up, and then it'll level out. Again, a change in direction. Any change in direction, whether it bumps into a log, that's a strike trigger, but you kind of need the log. Whether you pause it and it drops a little bit in open water, or you speed it up in open water and it rises, all these things are strike triggers. Bigger than it's just, it's big. I'm really trying to get away from that log jam back there. significant fish. I don't want that hole to rip in your mouth. Maybe you aren't as big as I thought, but you're big. Yes, nice. You know, you do have basically a certain amount of time. See, that came out real easy to get them in. You want to play them well, but the more turns and surges they do, the more it opens that hole in their mouth that they can get loose. So another 17-incher. So I do wonder, with there being that dam up there, that's a big head shake. Not as many people are going to be doing float trips through here, because portaging a dam is not fun. Yes, you're just not advancing towards me. You're pretty big. How many people really get to fish this water in the spring? Not too many, and that is the advantage. That's the big foot advantage. That's the advantage of getting into water like this, that you spot hit, and I mean, who else is fishing for this one? There's no ramp, there's no formal access. I checked Onyx, and there's a bridge right there. It's all private all the way around. I had to come up from that park down there, and I had to informally drag down to catch this 20-incher. 20? Oh man, a creek 20-incher. How fantastic is that? Oh yes. Sweet. But yeah, it's not often. I don't think there's a lot of people that can get to this as easily as I did, because of a lightweight throw and go kayak. 20-incher in this little creek in Pennsylvania. We're gonna release him. See you, guy. Going back to his little root ball right there. I'm out here assessing a new prototype kayak for innovative sportsmen. Shorter, more agile, well designed for moving water, but also a throw and go boat that is very lightweight. I feel as though I'm just hitting this creek at the perfect level at the perfect time of year. Your spinnerbait. It climbs. I'm in really strong current. It climbs okay. I will tell you that the Peregrine is much better at getting up through current like that. And I'm 13% into a battery with just this short run. The Peregrine, I don't think it might be at like 6 or 8% into that battery. It's just a way more efficient, long boat. It climbs stuff better. Let's take another look at climbing. We got pretty significant. Yeah, I'm gonna put this in my hands. This is a challenge. This climb right here. Going up to this dam, and one thing I might do, I don't want to fish up real close to it because I want to stay away from it, because that definitely has hydraulics. very cool, like, complex of islands at the base of this dam. Now, you can tell what it looks like, you know, when all of this floods. It's a mess, but there are trees on these islands, big old trees, and they catch big trees coming down over the dam. Too shallow. Still moving up through this pretty good. The inflatables paddle well because they don't have as much resistance. They don't sit. Yeah. Dams can concentrate fish, but like they're hard to fish, especially when the current's up. There's a hydraulic in there that I'm sure has killed lots of people. And man, it's just difficult to handle all of that and fish it and stay safe. You'll notice that I did stay back. I stayed pretty far away from the dam, and I accepted that, hey, if I snag this one thing that I know is catching all the fish, I will break it off. That's sort of the deal you make when you fish a dam. You have to commit to, all right, I'm going to throw this up there. If it snags on a log, I'm not going after it. All right, I hope that's centered well. I think it is. I'm looking, the hole is right here. It's screened, so it probably doesn't look like much. But I'm looking to see how much comes down through here, floods this, and then how quickly it sucks it down. I think I can do a good job spearing through that one haystack wave and getting a lot of water here. Here goes. Good speed, running in. Did get some water to come in. I'll be curious to look at the footage and see basically how that played out. I need to do this with much bigger wave trains. That's the first one on this side. Just casting down. Looks like a fairly decent fish. Yep. So I think the right play is to run up this bank, fish it, and run back down, get out, go home, re-rig all this stuff, and then hit it again tomorrow somewhere that I can have, you know, really good big wave trains to test this thing on. It shouldn't be a problem because, like, you know, it's been raining like crazy, and I just may not find any good fishing conditions. I think everything's going to be blown out. I don't know why this particular watershed was missed. So many creeks that I crossed on the way up here this morning were just rolling mud with recent rains. I overshot the park intentionally because I like this bank better, and I haven't fished this, so we're below it. Yeah, all of it. Shallow? I think it's shallow because the bank is lower. That, all of it. Like, to climb up that is not much fun. That, easy. That, hard. And I just have faith in steep banks, outside bends, and this is one long, sweeping outside bend. I like these little islands in the middle. I'm getting flooded up a little bit. I think this is where I'll make my turn, head back up. That, I loaded up good into the island. flooded brush. Come on, Jeff. Do better with the net. Really not doing well with the net. Thanks for the assist there, fish. And the spinnerbait's out. So I'm casting it, stuff on the way down, and kind of getting a preview of what are some areas I want to, approach carefully and make sure I get the right cast the first time. The more I come down through here, I think I like the bank I was on better. It's overall the steeper, gradual outside bend that just, I don't know, man, it looks better. There's more dynamic current flow over here because there are more like little mini islands and stuff, but overall shallower. And I'm gonna find some good fish on this side, but I'm not as excited as the prospects there. Outside bend, deeper, steep bank. I just had one slash at it right there. There's a good fish too. Like 17 or 18 maybe. Alright, I'm gonna give him the finesse jig. Yeah, I think because it's black, it's easier for them to find. Alright, let's go back to the spinnerbait. Yep. Why do I change anything? Yeah, that's... Just keep throwing the spinnerbait down. It's working pretty well. So, spinnerbait water clarity is the best. You say that, and you could say the same thing and insert jackhammer. Although I think the jackhammer it has abilities deeper into stain for sure than the spinnerbait or crankbait. It's just the best color for power fishing. Sometimes you gotta tune that spinnerbait. It hits trees or something and widens out faster, a little bit faster. It's 1:30, and I hadn't planned on being out that long because I want to. That's a good fish. I'm gonna get going soon because I want to leave time this afternoon to re-rig some of the things on this, and it's hard to leave when they're this good on the spinnerbait. I may not get this water clarity tomorrow because I think it has rained more, further upstream, because what I'm seeing are logs and other debris coming down. Man, I gotta get the pliers on this one because you took it so deep. Yeah, it's rising. This river, or this creek, is coming up. I may not get the same day tomorrow. I may go to a different place. In this water clarity, I think that it's clear, and they come out and they test it. Subsequent casts are kind of low, low likelihood of connecting, but in water like this, they've touched it once, they're gonna come after it again, and that was the case with that one. I saw him come up and he mouthed it, swimming with it. They do this. You'll actually see, I gotta tune that again, look how that straightened out on that fish. It'll be moving along and they'll do this and then back away. it's frustrating. But that's what that fish did the first time. I watched it happen in front of me. Like, he didn't turn with it. Second time he turned with it, and I think I had probably cast in there 5 more times to get him to do something with it. I mean, he was in that around, and I'm like 20 feet away from where he's at. It doesn't matter, because, you know, this muddy water. Was that another one? Felt something. Was he just mouthing it? Maybe. Felt something, but it wasn't a full hit. How many times do you need to see it before you eat it? How many licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Huh? What's the answer? Smallmouth. So if I'm gonna pattern develop, like in pattern development, you make a set of observations about the location where you've caught fish, and then you make a set of observations about the presentation that you made. But let's just talk about the location part of it briefly. And I don't mean specifically this trip. I just mean rivers in general. If there is one observation type that matters more than the rest, is patterning based on current features, just reading that sort of thing in the case of today. And I got a backlash in your teeth. There, I got it. Using today as an example, the pattern set in the observation about the current type where most of these fish have hit and actually connected with the bait. It doesn't mean that's where they were. It just means it's where they were when they ate it. Right now you have, here, let me just pull this down and I'll show you. Swift current coming right down through, and that's an eddy. It's calm water right in the middle of that, okay? Right where those birds are flying over there looking for a hatch. Where the hits have been roughly on the current seam, all the way along here. And I'm going to say more towards the current than the slack. It's not a really tight seam where it's obvious. Let's zoom in on there a little bit. It's more like, because that's blended, and then by the time we get to there, it's really moving, and then really moving. It's been more on the current side than not. And that sort of pattern development and making those observations in the moment of, all right, what's the casting angle, what's the amount of current that it's in, the amount of turbidity, the amount of speed, what it looks like. And it'll look like different things from different angles. Sometimes when you're looking at it sideways with the reflection of the trees, which are dark, you're going to see things that you don't than if you're looking upstream, or you see how light this reflection is of the sky. It's going to look totally different, and you got to take that into account. But yeah, if you can pattern based on reading current and how much current, how turbulent or laminar flow, that's more of a thing that happens in lower flow than this. But I got a little chute on the other side of this. I think it might be worth hitting. I didn't realize till I got up here that there's 2 lanes of current shooting through here, and that this calm water pocket is just in the middle. So the eddies here are almost non-existent. Like, they're little pockets right on the bank, and I probably only get a turn and a half the handle before we're out in the current. I value this lure that's caught all except for one. I did get that one on the jig, hand lining it. It's stupid. So, because I value it, I'm retying it. Don't know why, just like, this bait's getting it done. Let's protect it. Give it fresh line. Made that mistake last time, didn't I? You watched the last episode? You see that one I missed? Still right there. Oh, I hate missing a fish. Alright, just prevented that by retying. Thrown the spinnerbait in a few times. Well, it just looks right. So there should be a fish in there. There was one that didn't want the spinnerbait. What did he want? He wanted that stupid thing swam out. Swimming. He's not a big one, but swimming this thing is such a surprise it's basically a black twin-tail grub. It's a finesse jig with the baby goats. It was a tight little window to shoot it in there. Yep, I'll show you this here in a second. All right, let's take a look. So that's what I mean by a tighter eddy. You can see that foam trail comes off that brush that's deflecting it. You know, I really had to get it all the way to the back because the current seam really isn't that far off the bank. I don't think he was going to hit out here. The current seam is closer to the bank. And on some of them, there's a larger structure that swings it out, and it's here. But whatever it is, it really comes down to reading the surface of the water, crossing that current seam with the spinnerbait. So in this particular eddy, that current seam, that blended lane is pretty tight to the bank. You really got to get it in there. That's a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can steer you with the motor away. Oh, yeah, I can't do much. You're gonna go where you want to go. I was hoping to get you away from that bank. Mm-hmm. This is a significant fish. Oh! Yep. Good one. But yeah, get out of those trees. Some of the eddies they're hitting these spinnerbaits have current seams that swing way out, and some are tight, and this one was pretty tight. Get a measurement on him real quick. Oh, wrong. 16 3/4. I'm gonna get going soon because I want to leave time this afternoon to re-rig some of the things on this, and it's hard to leave when they're this good on the spinnerbait. I'm gonna try and show you something. I don't know if this is gonna convey or not, but I got a log in there, and I'm gonna cast to the other side of that log. I'm reeling, and then as soon as I get across, I slow it down and let it drop. Again, I don't know if that's conveying, but I'm gonna try this. Backside, I rode over it, but I can see the log, right? Boom, hit it, let it drop, and then go. You got to do that sometimes when it's clear. I have not needed to do that today, but that log bump with slightly clear phone. I'm filming. What do you want? two good jumps on this guy. He came out and kissed it, and then didn't get it. Now I got him tired. There's some big head shakes there. All right. Oh, yeah, that jumped way out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Keep you buttoned if we can. Be good. One jump, rip that hole bigger. Come on, come on, come on. Gotcha. Oh, you're a big fish. Really big fish. Oh, that's huge. It's big, big, big. All right, look at this big one. Gonna measure. Yeah, that came out super easy. I was lucky I got that all the way in. Long fish. We'll take a look at his eddy. It's a nice one. I also want to go back and look at the eddy that I fished pretty thoroughly and got nothing. Very, very nearby. And we're gonna talk about why that produced and that did not. But this is another, what are you, 19 and a half? Yep. Yeah. Beautiful 19 and a half incher here in the creek. All right. See you, buddy. All right, let's look at those two examples of one that had a 19 and a half and one that had nothing. And we're gonna think through what are the differences. Okay, here they are in no particular order. I'm gonna let you guess which one blanked and which one got the big fish. All right, fairly wide right here. I mean, there's current out here, right? You get up in there and there's not much current at all. And I'm looking further up in it, and let's look at the bank. What's the bank like? That should tell you something about what the contour is below the surface. That's a pretty low bank. It's a nice looking tree. Sure, there's a nice root ball there. But what's the water in there? In fact, we're going to go in. Let's go in there. Yep. It's all pretty low. It's about that deep. Okay. A lot of shallow water. And then current seam coming off that point. Did I catch them here? Is this where the big one was? One more look from the outside. For sure, there is a current seam right about here. You get beyond it, it's pretty calm back there. Okay, let's look at second place. All right, you ready? Huh. Well, the bank's steeper. What else are we observing? Look at the current. A lot of it moving. I don't even know is there any calm water on the bank? There's a thin layer right up against the bank of water that's not moving. On that steep bank, some interesting stuff up in there. And here, the more downstream side, there's a creek mouth. Yep, that opens up. What do you think? Is this where I got the big fish? Or is that where I blanked? I'm still deciding whether I'm going to let you know. The learning model or theory, it's called guided discovery, where it lets you guess, it lets you kind of figure some things out on your own. I think I'm just going to leave it. Make your observations based on current. Read the current. Look at the bank. Figure out what sort of what the bottom is going to look like compared to what the bank looks like coming down to it. You know, it's going to tell you a lot, man. At 19 and a half, like, mess this thing up. I'm might have to retire this one afterwards. I've done a lot of bending that R-bend back. Oh, I am fishing this bank. Yeah, I'm gonna keep fishing this bank. Another big. It's pushing me into this log jam, and the longer he's on, the more I'm afraid he's gonna rip that hole bigger. All right, I'm out in the middle now. This is a really big fish again. Yep. I missed him. Oh, did you see that? Oh, he broke it off. I hate leaving hardware in a fish. But here's the thing. It only left half of it in him because that R-bend from bending it back so many times. My knot is still there. I didn't break the line. The spinnerbait broke. So one half of the spinnerbait went one way and that knot is still there. He's unfortunately got the hook still in him. That thing was 20. That thing was huge. I got another spinnerbait. I really do need to get going, so I leave time for myself to, you know, to do the rigging and then come back out tomorrow. Watch your blades. Always watch it come back. Don't be looking over here. Look at your blades. You're gonna see fish turn on it. You're gonna have fish show themselves. That last one was a tank. I mean, everything I've caught, you know, the 20 and the 19 and a half were long fish. That thing I just had was like, boo, thick. So here's where I wrestle with not bringing the big heavy box, which my Lakewood box it's pretty compact, but there's a lot of weight. Right now, this is the 3/8. I really want the half. In this much current, I think the half would do a better job. And I'm moving it a little bit slower to get it a little bit deeper. And I don't think it's not, I want the half. It's a small difference, but like I'm thinking about it. Like if I had my big box, I'd be grabbing a ½ ounce. So if there is a weak link in spinnerbaits, is that you gotta bend them back. And you keep bending any metal back and forth, it's going to have fatigue. And it's one thing that, you know, the bladed jig has going for it, is that they're more durable. Like they just hold up to things better than spinnerbaits. That being said, I mean, I caught a lot of good fish on that spinnerbait before it gave up. It just gave up on the the biggest one, which happens. Good fish on the jackhammer. Let's see. You're acting like a big fish. No, you're not. Thought you were. I'm still happy to see you. Yeah, I just got excited and reeled that thing right down to the tip of the rod because I couldn't see it. I could feel it pulling. Nice. Come on, you're dark. I'm doing horrible with the net. I love those big head shakes. They feel so good. So angry and powerful. Yep. Yep, gotcha. Look at you. Alright. This one at 18 just pushed it to 93 1/4. So many great fish here. On the jackhammer. Cool. Is this like fishaholics, like alcoholics? I'm just gonna go out for 2 beers. Really? No, you're gonna close down the bar because it's what you do. Yeah, I'll be out here till it's dark. I really can't. I really want to be though. That's a giant. That's a big fish. It jumped pretty big. They just jumped again. It's mad. And see if I can find you. Oh, got you away from that bank. Big, 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 big. Big and angry. Let's see what we got. There's a 17 3/4 there, and that 18 1/2. Yeah, 18 1/2. So that pushes me to 94 inches on the day. It's my math checking out. Can I get to 95 before I go? GoPro start recording. Nice. 18 1/2 inch chunker on the jackhammer. I'm for sure within striking distance of a 19-inch average. Very next cast. Same hole. Nice one. In tournament terms, he would need to be 18 inches to cull. And he's not that. He's a nice fish though. I'm gonna fish to that stump. It's like 30 yards away. And we're done. We're done. I just keep telling myself I gotta get this done so I can fish tomorrow and keep learning about this boat. Might have to leave that one unmolested. Last one. Yeah, that is the last one. Let's get out of here. Look at that maneuverability. Woo! Can't wait to take this in like real whitewater and see what kind of ripping and turning we can do with this with the thigh straps. And I gotta do something with the steering. Isn't quite as crisp as I want it. I think I gotta lift the steering triangle up a little bit higher. There's some rubbing back there, and I think it's probably the top of the steering triangle on the bracket. And if I had put a little spacer in there, it's gonna sit not like right on it, but just up from it, and then wouldn't rub. I think that's what's happening. Gotta do some more rigging. Man, it's a fun boat, isn't it? That's fun. I wish we could bring this to market quicker. I do. But when we do, it's going to be a banger. It's going to sell, because it is a complete throw and go, creek, river, very agile, maneuverable Kestrel, 12.5, 36 wide, 3 chambers, and it's gonna drain. We're gonna make this thing drain like that. All right, it's a little after 3. Still got time to get home, do some rigging. I struggled getting this up the hill, and it's not because it isn't lightweight. It is. There's something about the friction coefficient of this material and the fact that it's a huge footprint that makes it tough to pull. The pulling effort and the friction coefficient in like that much water is like 0. As soon as it's dry, which this was still wet grass, it goes to like 9.5. So I think I might be putting landing gear on it. I think I got room right across there. So yeah, I can pull it off my old original Osprey. I don't know that that's necessarily a priority for tomorrow, but I got some other riggings that I'm gonna head back in for sure. 94 inches in like, I don't know, what was I out there, like 6 hours, is a great way to figure out what I like and what I don't like about this new platform. Anyhow, thanks for watching.